to elevate.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Two Brothers channel. I'm one brother.
And I'm the second brother. Welcome, everybody. Hey, I'm excited about this episode. Back to you, Mr. Phil. Back to you.
Hey. I'm excited too. And the reason why we're excited is because, without further ado, we're having our first guest on the Two Brothers channel. We're going to have so many guests coming in the future, but this is historical because this is our first guest. And guess who it is? It's none other. I'm just going to let her introduce herself. Over to you.
Hi. Woo! Hello, everybody. My name is Rika, and I'm here as a special guest on the Two Brothers channel, and I'm so excited.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, let me just let the cat out of the bag. And some people know already, but Rika is actually my first and only daughter.
Hey!
Rika is my first and only daughter. And what we're going to be talking about is today is this process works. Okay, I've been sharing personal development ideas for many years, and personal development processes for many years, and I've literally used my life as a guinea pig. You know how sometimes when you're sharing and you're teaching people, they're kind of like side-eye looking at you from the side, like, are you sure? Okay, are you doing this yourself? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing it myself. I use my own life as proof. What do you think, Mr. Kaleye?
Well, you not only do it yourself, you've been doing it yourself from day one. It's not do as I do. It's not watch as I do. No.
It's not do as I say.
It's not do as I say.
Yeah.
Is watch as I do. Do as I do. You take one step, I take a step. You don't take a step, I don't take a step. Okay. And that's been the motto from day one. So whatever you think is being asked of you, trust me, we've done it already.
That's very important. That's very important. That's very important. And the reason why is because we lead by example. Okay, we don't lead by just talking and rhetoric. So everything, like Mr. Clay is saying, that we teach and we ask you to do, trust and believe. We are not only doing, we have done, and we've done for so many years. And guess what? We will even be willing to always outdo you in whatever we say you should do. So whatever we say you should do, we have not only done it with. But one of the reasons why I've invited my daughter, Rika, on the show today is because some people think, all right, you're saying all this, but what about, are you applying it to your children? What is the story there? How is it? And Rika has have used myself as a testing of a ground for these principles. I shared it with my brother, okay? And it will obviously, as time goes on, it will share with you how it has impacted his life. So not only have my life been impacted, it's impacted my brother's life, Mr. Claire's life, and it's impacted many other friends of ours that we will invite onto the show from time to time to come and share their stories. Okay. However, today, we want to look at the perspective, that this process works even when it comes to bringing up our children, bringing up our loved ones and family, okay? And especially, let's look at the hard subject, money. Money. So when my children were very young, I stuck to that principle that if you're easy on yourself, life will be hard on you.
That's right.
But if you're hard on yourself, life will be easy on you. Yeah. I use that principle for my children since they were this little. And Rika grew up in my household. Some of the things I'm going to share with you now, you're going to go, oh, Mr. Phil, how can you be so nasty? How can you be so strict? How can you be so without fun? Because when they were growing up, okay, I taught them that, okay, what used to happen is that on my street in London here, when the ice cream van comes and it goes clink, 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 clink. Yeah, I know it wasn't a very good impression, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Indeed, Mr. Phil, indeed.
Okay. When the van makes that noise, all the children on the street become a problem to their parents. Dad, I want ice cream. Dad, I want ice cream. I didn't train my children like that. My children are the only ones in the street that will not come out for the ice cream van. And it looked like I was such a terrible dad. Rike, so what was that experience for you? Let's do ice cream, then we go to McDonald's, then we go to money. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, so the ice cream experience for me actually wasn't too bad, because after a while you get used to it. You know, it was either a fact of you're not gonna have ice cream today, or we can go to the shop and actually get a better value for money, you know? It didn't really make sense to me after a while to be getting a cone for £2. So I understood the logic very quickly.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much. Because that's what I told, because obviously my children will cry. So I sat them all down, little children, and I was like, look, if we really want ice cream, let's go to Sainsbury's. And let's go and buy a big tub for the £2 that you're going to get one little cone. And we can get many cones. So that they overcame that very quickly. So they understood it like really care. Okay, let's go to McDonald's. All right, what happened? Because, okay, with McDonald's, I just saw children become a huge problem for their parents. They will be in their car and they will pass a McDonald's. Oh, that, and they become a huge distraction, and they will throw a tantrum just because they're driving past McDonald's. Guess what?
McDonald's was very tricky as well, because they give you toys for children. You know, not only do you get the meal, you get the toy, you get all the adverts, you know. So you have a lasting present, you know, for the trip to McDonald's.
Do you think they don't know what they're doing? They know that children will become a problem for you. And me being a very, what should I call it? I won't want to say stubborn. I just don't like to be controlled by anybody. I knew what they were trying to do. So I basically said, no, McDonald's is not going to control the peace in my house. Ice cream van is not going to control the peace in my house. McDonald's is not going to control the peace in my house. And the money I give my children is not going to control the peace in my house. So how do we do with McDonald's? My children just knew not to ask me we're going to McDonald's. Rika, how did you deal with that?
To be honest, we did try our luck most of the time. So we'd be coming back from church to wherever we went, and we'd be like, oh, I speak to my brothers. I was like, oh, let's ask Dad if we can go to McDonald's. No, you ask. Oh, no, you ask. So we're like, okay. So eventually somebody would ask. And then we're like, oh, Daddy, can we go to McDonald's, please? No, there's food at home. So that became the same as the ice cream. We eventually learned that there was food at home. And to be honest, it's a waste of money spending money on McDonald's. Even though we didn't actually like it, we always wanted McDonald's. You know, it came with all the little treats and everything. And when you're young, McDonald's tastes really good. But we got over it, you know, like it didn't actually knock us in any way, shape or form. So, you know, I guess it was just like a learning block for us that you don't get everything that you want. And if you do want it, you got to work for it.
Okay. Now, the last thing about that is, you know, restaurants. My partner then used to just wonder about me. Now, what kind of man is this? Because my children, they were born actually within, the first three were born within 4 years. And so I had like little babies. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. In 4 years, I had 3 kids, basically.
Wow.
Just imagine that. And then the last one came 4 years later. So cut long story short, I had like a brood of young kids. Now, I thought to myself, I'm not going to take these kids to Pizza Hut. And then this one is crying, this one is pouring food, this one is, you understand what I'm saying, yeah? So I'm like, you know what, all that, they ain't going anywhere. Let these children grow up. And then we will go all those places. Rika, what happened?
Yeah, so I think the first time we actually went to probably Pizza Hut or something when we were younger, it was for a birthday or like a special occasion. It was never just, oh yeah, let's just go have pizza. It was always, it had to be a special treat, you know. But it was always an amazing experience. As we got older, it became better, of course, because then everybody was settled. There wasn't kids running around, you know. Like, our parents didn't have to control us, but we were already controlled, you know. But yeah, it was always for a treat or something. Never, and if we did want pizza, it would be that we'll have it at home, you know. So we didn't actually have to go to the restaurant to experience the experience. Yeah.
Now the question is now. Sorry to cut you, Rike. The question is now: did you end up now going to those places, be it Pizza Hut,
even before we go to her being able to afford it and going herself?
No. Okay, go on.
My question to her would be, how did you feel looking at your friends that they were going to this place?
Very good.
At that time, you know, because obviously they're telling her we're going to Pizza Hut like it was nothing, and you know that's a big deal in your house, you know. it's not just like, oh, we're going to McDonald's, and you know, well, we can't just go McDonald's like that. So how did you cope with that, with the peer pressure?
For me, luckily, peer pressure was never a thing until I got a bit older, I think. When I was young, I had my own, I still have my own mind, if I'm being honest, but it never really had an effect on me. Like, I had pizza, I had McDonald's, but it was only on rare occasions, and it made sense when we were having it. It wasn't just, you know, we were just being spoiled for no reason. So I didn't feel any type of way when my friends were like, oh yeah, we're going Pizza Hut, okay, pizza. You could get a frozen pizza, what's the difference? So yeah, like, I didn't really have any qualms with that. I'm not sure about my brothers, but for me, it wasn't too bad at all.
Beautiful.
Okay, one of the things is that obviously after a while you guys grew up and it became delayed gratification that you could understand. But there came a time not too long after that you could go yourselves. You know, how was that when the time now came that you could go yourself? Right now, Rika, you can go to Pizza Hut every day right now if you want because you can afford it. Please tell us that journey.
As I got older, probably when I got my first job, that's when I felt like, oh yes, okay, I can buy things. I got my first job at 15, going on 16. So I was literally about to turn 16. And it was quite a good paying job for my age at that time, like compared to all of my friends, it was, you know, up there. But yeah, we used to, in fact, in secondary school, we used to go to McDonald's every day. That was the link up spot. And if
I didn't know that.
Yeah. As soon as we finished school, it was either you're at the chicken shop or at McDonald's or KFC or something. But yeah, we would go just as, you know, a social hub, not really to eat anything. You know, you'd be chatting with people, you know, playing games and things. It wasn't really ever to like just sit down and eat. You might get an ice cream, you might get a cheeseburger or some fries. And, you know, at that time, everybody would like chip in with each other as well. So it wasn't like anybody was missing out. But yeah, when I got older, it wasn't as if I even wanted to go, you know, because when I learned how many hours I was working in order to get this amount of money, I was like, it is not worth it to spend all of that money in one go when I worked a whole hour for it. Excuse me, standing on the shop floor, no way.
Now let's make something clear. Did you said you started working at 15, yeah? Was it a case of us saying, oh, Rika, you must go and get a job now? Or was it a case of saying that we can't afford to keep you without you having a job? What happened?
No, absolutely not. For me in particular, I had 3 younger brothers, and like my dad said, we were all close in age, and I knew that my parents had bills to pay. My brothers needed things probably for school or new shoes, you know, uniform and things. So I never really felt like ever asking for anything. I never wanted to ask for money. So once I got my job and I knew that, yeah, I can have my own money, it wasn't like a fact that, oh, my parents pushed me into it. It was just so that I felt that little sense of freedom that, okay, nobody's controlling me and I don't have to ask for it as well, you know? I'm working for it, so nobody can take it away from me, essentially.
So you don't need permission to spend to buy what you need.
Exactly.
And that has been the culture for recare. Well, even I hearing that, I'm like, oh, she can't even ask for money. Oh, even I listen to that. There could be an element of that. But what would you say to someone that says that, like, oh, you couldn't even ask, because you saw you had brothers and things like that?
Oh no, it's not an situation, if I'm honest. It was not at all. It was that personally I felt some type of way. Let me see if I can put the feeling into words. Do you know when you feel kind of like embarrassed to ask? I think it was them. I don't know whether embarrassed is the best word to use, but that was the type of feeling, like I didn't want to, I just didn't.
So even you knew you could do for yourself.
Yeah,
you didn't need it. Well, exactly. I remember when I was 15 years old, we were not allowed to work, number one. My dad was, actually, you know what, that's a lie. I was working, I was doing paper rounds when I was 15. And, but it was like, I did that because if you ask my dad for anything, you just join the queue. You'll be like, okay, okay, join the queue. He asks first. So you will get his first, then and I used to just join the queue. So I started paper round, and that helped me to be able to buy certain things. But the funny thing was, even when I started paper round at that age, I didn't know what to buy. So I was buying ridiculous things, like this was I was buying like a game of dart. I remember buying a game of weird things that you just pick, like buy it. So but that was before I started my personal development journey. But it looks like you started your personal development journey before you even got, you were started as kids knowing Mr. Phil. So it was instilling the principles in you as you were growing up. So your motivations for doing things is slightly different to most people.
Yeah, I agree, definitely.
What? Sorry, go ahead, Enrique. Sorry.
Just going back onto that point of being hard on yourself so life can be easy on you. I remember one scenario where me and my dad were in the kitchen, and I'm not too even sure what brought us to this whole, conversation, but we had these cupboards beside the door, and he was like, look, this is you and this is life. And he kept on like almost slamming his hand in the cupboard. And he's like, life will keep on hitting you unless you move yourself. So you got to be hard on yourself by actually taking yourself out of situations where you're not meant to be in, or actually just using common sense in some situations and aspects, and life won't be hitting you on the head anymore. But literally that has stuck with me till today, and I don't think I'll ever forget it.
Let me expand a bit on that. Like she said, there are some people that are in uncomfortable situations. They're in situations where they're in pain. It could be a relationship where somebody is not being nice to you or whatever, and you find yourself in that situation. Now, life will not tell you. What I've found about life is that life will not scream and shout at you and go, "Get out of there! I used to be move." No, life will very quietly. Life will just start smashing your head. Boom, move. Boom, move. Boom, move. Until you go, this is not fun. Then you remove yourself. And what is that a lot of people think that life, maybe that decision, maybe that fraud that you shouldn't be doing. You understand what I'm saying? Life will not scream and shout at you. Life will just like, get out of the way. That's not for you. You may get one warning. You may nearly get caught. That's life going like this. You understand what I'm saying? Then maybe something will go wrong. You lose money. That's life going like this. And it's now for us to realize that, hang on, if I'm smart, I need to get out. Yeah. What do you think, Mr. Clay?
Yeah. Like you said, the sleepless nights, the worrying, looking over your shoulder every 5 minutes.
That's life.
Not being able to know when to even relax. You know, even if you go on holiday, you're watching it over your shoulder because you don't know what would, you know, the people that you're taking on holiday with you, that you're hoping that will help you relax, are oblivious to what you're doing, most of them. So they're having fun, and you're looking at everybody thinking, well, I can't even relax. I can't even join in or enjoy myself too tough. So definitely, I know that even financially, it could be a problem where life is hitting you. You know, you want to, you know, the famous saying I say to people is that things, it's not things are too expensive. No, no, it's just that you can't afford it. You know, so it's not that it's too expensive. You know, when you look at it, it's oh the houses are too expensive, or the clothes are too expensive, the cars are too expensive. No, 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 no. You just can't afford it. The minute you can afford it, all of a sudden it's not a problem.
It's not expensive anymore. That is one of the most powerful things our remote mentor Jim Ron was the one that said that, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And it
yeah.
made me realize that true. No matter how high the prices go, it's not that the prices are too high. It's just that you cannot afford it. And guess who can change? You can change.
You're not a tree. You can move. So that's life telling you that okay, you need to move your spot, move away from your position, raise your financial level. Don't stop. You know, start making more money. Start thinking of ideas to expand your bank account. You know, which you can. You have the ability to do. You have that ability. Back to you,
Brings
Mr.
us to the next one, value.
Hmm.
Okay, because you see, a lot of people will think and they will say, okay, I know I need to make more money. And so how do I go from here? Again, it goes back to when we said be hard on yourself. Because when you're hard on yourself, life will be easy on you. But when you're easy on yourself, life will be hard on you. Now, someone like this is actually a very special episode for me because online right now is Mr. Clay and Enrique, people that have actually taken to heart this process of personal development that we're sharing with the world right now and use their own lives as an example. So it first started with Mr. Clay way before Enrique was born. When I said, I'm going to go this way. And everybody looked at me like, you're going that way. Okay, we will see. Then when Mr. Clay said, look, I think I'm going to be going that way. Everybody went, what? Are you going that way because he's going that way? You know? And Mr. Clay, say a bit about that. Say a bit about
that. I think at that time, when you're a child, and you're deciding for your own self, you can see all these adults. You know, you see everybody making decisions, people, you know, and when, you know, you got to the age where I was just about to finish school and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And this wonderful business opportunity came into our midst. And our mentor also came into our midst as well. And you could see that it was just like an elevation from where we are. Everybody was in like a mental kind of place. But this guy came in and introduced a new element that just like opened up a whole new world, right? That even these guys could not see or know. But they were not even interested to take a look because they were convinced and programmed, knew what they were doing and they were happy where they were going. So for me, what was more exciting as a child, I was like, you know what? I know what you guys are about. You know, I've lived all my life up to this point, knowing everybody. This new element, that space. I'm going to space. And that looks exciting. Way more exciting than what you guys are all doing here, you know. I'm going with him, you know. So that's how it was for me. And then for people looking at me, will look at, oh, is it because, you know, his brother is doing, even this channel, You know, a lot of people will probably be thinking, why is he, you know, two brothers? Why is he? Are they only two brothers? You know, do you have to be blood brothers? Why is it? Why is it him and him that are doing this channel? You know, and it's because of the journey. Again,
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, so sorry, Mr. Clay. You see, thank you. You said that. You see, even you said even this channel, who else on earth has been on that simultaneous journey than you, Mr. Clay? Who else?
well, there's quite, you know, in our family, it's only me.
Uh,
I,
uh, oh, in our family, what? In our family, what?
it's only me. There
Okay.
are people that we've dragged, literally grabbed and dragged, you know, till we could not drag them no more.
We have to let them go.
We have to say, okay. You know.
Okay, so the key is this. This naturally happened. And this naturally, so the qualification is one of the things I found about life is that you've heard the phrase, the chosen ones, or we choose this person. No, ladies and gentlemen, what I found about life is we generally choose ourselves. You choose yourself. That's why I even coined the phrase, the few that choose. I have realized that you can't force people to do anything. They've got to choose to choose themselves first, to do whatever. So that means that, you know, they are going to choose to pay the price. And in that act of choosing to pay the price, they've chosen themselves. So, like Mr. Clay, you chose yourself on this journey. And that is why, even with this channel, I look at you today, and one of the things that I wanted to achieve on this journey is that, look, you're my younger brother. Very quickly, this process works so well that I never had to worry about you having money for yourself. I just showed you the process, and you started even earning more than me.
Yeah.
Mr. Clay, please.
Yep. I mean, you know, this personal development journey is amazing because your journey is gonna be your journey. You know, in terms of your goals and your dreams. My dreams and goals is not the same as Mr. Phil, and it's not gonna be the same as Rike. Rike has the ability to dream up our own dreams, have our own goals, because a dream, all a goal is a dream with a date on it, as we all know.
Yeah.
So the minute she starts dreaming up, her personal development is creating our own wonderful life.
Amazing.
I mean, Rike, you know, coming back to you, you were born watching your dad on this journey.
Yes, I was.
And you know, being African.
Sorry, Mr. Clay. With this video, I'm actually gonna try and look for, because there was a picture of when Rike was born, and you were carrying Rike. That picture, I might sneak it into this video.
That would be
another picture of me holding Rike as a young baby. Yeah. But like you said, Rike has started our own journey. She has our own dream. As a matter of fact, yay! My daughter is 21 years old this year.
Wow. Well, watching your being born and watching your dad, you know, develop, because you can see his growth as well. Because you know, it's amazing. My dad was a very strict African, you know, in terms of nothing outside that box. You know, you knew you had to get your education, get your qualification. And once you get your qualification, you get that massive job, you know, that job that you would then work till you retire, because that job obviously will look after you and your family. and when you retire, he's made a success out of you. That was his plan. Go to school, get a good job, and you know, and work as long as for the work for many years in that job till you retire, right? It was where the problem became is when they said go to school, get a good job. Then I was being told while I was still in school, there is nothing as such as a good job. You see, that's where the problem was. I was like, okay, so a good job is not good. No jobs is good. If it was so good, they wouldn't be paying you to do it. That's for sure. You know, so
yes, and that's the beautiful thing, Mr. Clay. See, one of the things that happened is this, and this is what people didn't notice, is that time change, method change. The method from your time, and don't worry, people, Rike is going to talk, and we're going to have a part 2 to this.
Yeah.
Rike is going to talk. Don't worry, I know people want to see Rike like, let Rike talk, man.
Let Rike talk.
But Rike is
meant to be Rike's chance to talk.
So we're going to do a part 2. But just following on what Mr. Clay is talking about, yeah. By the time we came along, the methods have changed. Remember, principles are permanent. But most people mistake methods for principles.
Yeah.
But the method, by the time we came around, was like you get a job, you go to school to get a job, and you stay in that job for 45 years,
yep.
and then you retire.
Yep.
Good life. That was meant to be the good life.
That was the master plan. That was the master plan.
That was the master plan. By the time I and you came along, Mr. Clay, suddenly that method was now not working as well anymore.
There was no job for life anymore.
Thank you. The job for life concept stopped. Suddenly, you couldn't even stay in a job for 45 years, even if you
wanted to.
Okay. So by the time our time came, it was like, I knew that, okay, the process cannot just be go to school, get a job, and work that job. The process now, from our time, which a lot of people did not notice, and it's still going on now, is this. You go to school, you get a job, you graduate from school into a job, you graduate from a job, then you then need to start, this is how it goes, yeah.
It's a lot worse than that, Mr. Phil. So.
Okay, but let's make it simple.
I'll let you make it
hard. So we know that we have to graduate from nursery school to primary school. From primary school to secondary school.
Yeah.
From secondary school to A levels or higher learning. From that to university, from university to a job. So you're graduating. And that's where most people stop. Now I'm going to introduce a new concept. You need to now learn how to graduate from a job into your own enterprise. Over to you, Rike.
Yes. I totally agree. Do you know what? Even I was speaking to my dad the other day about how this job is even doing my head in. I'm having enough of these people. So I know personally that I cannot stay in a job for the rest of my life. If I'm honest, even people that have been in my job for like 14 years, I ask them, how have you been here for that long? Like, I just never understood the concept of being in a job for over like 5-7 years. Like, it's unthinkable to me, to be honest. But yeah, I do agree with going into your own enterprise. Like, a job isn't going to create the lifestyle that you want. It's only going to be able to provide you with the means so that you can go back to that job and collect more. And you're still going to be doing the same work, and they're going to be pushing you even harder and probably for even less pay, Like, it's ridiculous that people are, basically looking after their families and trying to build a life off of a menial job that's not going to help them in the long run, So I guess it's definitely a good idea for everybody to start building their own enterprise, building their own organizations,
Okay. Now, this is where we're going to round this up, and we're gonna do a part 2. We're going to invite Rika again next time. And I'm gonna promise. So what we're doing is that where we are now is at the enterprise. Yeah, that's where we're ending. Okay, so we're just gonna bring this to an end and see you all in part 2. Say hi, everybody.
Bye.